webinar titled Rejuvenation in Education, Ignite Your Mind. Our speaker is Maria Zahir. We are very pleased to welcome her to this webinar. Again, my name is Ende Diallo and I'll be your moderator for today's event. Today's presentation will last 60 minutes and includes a question and answer period. To enter a question, simply type your question into the box on the lower left side of your screen, then click on the send button. And now it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Ms. Maria Zahir is a master trainer and is a highly skilled teacher trainer with extensive knowledge of the latest and most effective teaching methodologies. She has worked as an esteemed university at an esteemed university such as Prince Sultan and holds a master's in TESOL and applied linguistics from the UK, with additional qualifications of CERT TESOL and PTLLS. She received multiple recognition awards for her research in teaching methods and development workshops, which has proven to be both creatively innovative and best practice for an ever-changing generation of students. Ms. Maria is a lecturer, teacher, trainer, co-authored papers which are published in esteemed journals. Topics under study and research are language instructions, pedagogical aspects, sociolinguistics, and pragmatics research. Okay. Welcome to the program, and let's start.
Thank you, Ende. Hello, everyone. This is Maria Zahir with you. Hope you had a great day and excited to learn something new from this webinar. So what is rejuvenation in education? So what do you understand by this? You know, it's 21st century and we as educators are in constant search and in search of updating our skills to help the excuse me, to help the tech-savvy generation, motivated, connected, and learn something new that they are not bored of. We all know as educators that we have to present a lesson that connects our students in first 5 minutes, otherwise we will lose them. So the good news is, today I'm going to share some experienced or which I myself have been using over the years that had really helped me to be successful as an activity to connect my students, to motivate them and have their attention right away. So let's get started. Well, so far 2019 has been very amazing, and I'm sure it has been amazing for all of you as well. And we have accomplished a lot so far. But 2020 can be even better. And you will ask now, how can I make it better? Well, I always have SMART goals, which I have let out for you here for 2020. Being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. That means whatever I'm going to show you will be achievable for you. It will be realistically aimed to use it in an EFL classroom. You can timely accomplish this and very specific in kind of lesson plan or to what kind of skill you can apply this to. So today's aim is to inspire, help you imagine, innovate your thought process, envision it, nurture it, and help you create a resource that will ignite your mind. So then you will ask, how can I make it better? Okay, I've got this. Yes, I'm coming there. So you're lucky today. I'm going to share with you 5 resources or 5 activities that really work. And the good news is that at the end of the presentation, you will see a QR code that will take you to my website, and all the resources are free to download, and you can edit it according to your liking. Isn't that amazing? What a bonus. So here we are, activity number 1, Jeopardy game. I'm sure you all are aware of this. It is a very common game played in US, and it is used for different purposes in a game process. But have you ever thought of using it in a classroom, in an EFL classroom? It's very enthralling for the students. It always connects them, especially I like it using when I have a review session with them, where I have multiple topics to share with them. So the thing is, rather having lots of handouts, students getting bored, you are pushing them to get motivated. Come on, let's do it, let's share it. It reduces teacher talking time. It just connects them straight away. And I will show you with a sample in the following slide. So if you can see on the top, the first image, this is one of the samples of my PowerPoint which I made. So by the way, it's a PowerPoint that can be downloaded. And when you go back to the website, you can easily download this resource from there and edit it according to your liking. As you can see, I have used 4 topics here. So I wanted to revise Unit 3, Unit 1, word families, and grammar. And just like a typical Jeopardy game, there are points to it, plus there is a bonus question for students to answer. So like usually any EFL activity, you would just divide them into groups, and then that's where all the game starts. And you're going to open up as a PowerPoint. And if you see at the left bottom side of the image, when you click on any of the points, it will take you to a question like this. It's very interactive. And this interactive PowerPoint will remain just the same. Even if you edit it, it will still remain the same for you. So if you can see the left bottom image, where as soon as you click on the score or any point the students wish to answer with, will take you to a question that is related here. If you can see prefix for the word friendly is. So give them time or 5 seconds or whatever. Then when you click on the answer tab, it will take you to the answer that can be seen on the right side bottom image. And once it is answered correctly, if you can see the small star at the bottom of the image, it takes you back to the top of main screen where all the points, all the questions are. Isn't that amazing? You can see how interactive it is and how quickly and how easily you have your students connected. And believe me, when I used this in my classroom, they were all connected. They were all ready to figure out which points or higher points they want to choose. They wanted to be the winner. So the motivation just kicks in. And this is something we all as EFL teachers are struggling to have our students get connected and have them motivated in a classroom. So it saved teacher talking time. I had students develop their own learning skills, developing their own collaborative skills and lifelong learning skills. So it is a complete package, and it is really helpful and really effective. Activity 2. This is an amazing activity. I'm sure you all are aware of the spinning wheel. We have used it as a wheel of fame. Well, I used it in a different way. So if you can see, this is a sample of one of my classes. It is ESP, stands for English for Specific Purposes. So this was one of the course that I was teaching, and it had 5 subjects. As you can see, ESP Business, ESP ID, ESP English, ESP Law, and CIS. So what happened was, it was a big event at the end of the semester. So I thought, why don't I just use something like an amazing big wheel to accommodate a large number of students at one time, and yet keep them engaged and keep them involved in this activity. So what happened is, as you can see, as soon as I press the click to spin button, the wheel spins. And at the moment, you can see it is on ESP Law. So that means the students from ESP Law had to answer that question. And so on and so forth. So as you keep on spinning the wheel, it keeps on stopping to one of the other sub courses, and it started reducing till we reached to one last tab. And you can see how amazing it is. They were very attentive, very connected, all eyes on the screen, ready to see where the wheel will stop. And again, you can see in just a few seconds, with very less effort, I was able to get my students connected, even at a larger capacity, even at a very large strength of class. I was able to do something like this, and which was fun for them. They were very connected. You can recycle this in any way you like. You can put words on this wheel of fame. You can add definitions. You can add their names or whatever you like. So it is again editable. It is a free resource that you can use. And at the end of the slide, there's a QR code that will take you to the resource, and you can use it in your classroom. So isn't it amazing? You have already reached to activity 2, which has lots of benefits. And you as a teacher, I know we all busy, we cannot create new resources, but here there is something, a package for you where there's something already ready and easy to be used in a classroom. I hope you're finding it interesting and hope you will use it and try it yourself as well. Activity 3 is a treasure hunt. My all-time favorite. It's very kinesthetic, and I'm sure we all know this. We have all played this once in our life, finding some treasure from somewhere or the other, or at a party or at an office activity or whatever. But it can be used in an academic setting as well. It helps the students to be very energetic, ready. Again, the motivation kicks in from the very first second. It helps them to be very, in a collaborative mode, very competitive, and they want to achieve something very fast and very soon. And I will show you a sample of a lesson, how I use this and how I was able to achieve outcomes that were very beneficial for my students. So what I do is, for the treasure hunt, I identify 5 prominent locations on my campus. Then I write a clue for each campus location. For example, if you see, the first one is, it's too cold today, I need a hot coffee. So straight away, students know that they have to go to a coffee shop on the campus where they will find this second clue. So the first clue, any of these can be pasted in the classroom at the door or whatever prominent location you wish to post your first clue, and give them instructions that they have to follow the next clue to find the next clue and then to find the other clue. And at each location, there is an envelope posted with a handout for them to collect and come back to class. And I will show you a sample in the following slide what I mean by that. So if you can see the following, so when they have left the class, they went to a coffee shop. Soon when they reached there, they saw, I think I need a book to read. So obviously, they had to go to the library to find their next clue. And from the library, I'm out of cash, let me go and get some. Okay, so my students knew they had to go to the ATM machine to find their next clue. Then Miss Maria wants to meet me in her office. They knew after the ATM machine, the next clue was to go to my office and collect their next handout. And at the last, when I want them to come back to class, that's where I posted at my office door, I better rush back to class. And they collected their last handout and they rushed back to the classroom. So what happens there, as they were already grouped in pairs or in a group of 3, I directed them to go to these places and come back to class, and the next activity follows. So what kind of activity, you would ask, I had done? So For me, jigsaw writing was one of the appropriate things that I could do with this treasure hunt. So if you can see on your left side, these are the steps of process writing. And what I did was I cut them into strips, little strips for step 1, 2, 3, and 4. So each strip was posted in the envelope underneath the clue. So I told them, collect each from each envelope. You should have 5 of them or 6 of them, and you should come back to class. So once they knew they have collected all 6 strips from that clue posted, they came back to class. So they were seated down, and after a little while, when I saw everybody's back, I instructed them to stay in their own groups, and I gave them a paper with connecting words, if you can see on your right side box, saying first, second, next, then, and finally. So the idea was to join all these using the connecting words as a correct process writing, a correct way to bake a cake. So it was all jumbled up. They were so connected. They were so motivated, all working, all heads together. They were sticking each paper correctly, finding the correct connecting word. And again, you see, my aim was to reduce teacher talking time. I was monitoring while they were doing this task, and I could see with my minimal help, students were able to join these words or this process correctly and also learn a new genre through this. So we sometimes tend to talk a lot in the class and we suppress students' abilities, and students get bored and they disconnect from your classroom. So something like this that keeps them engaged from the very first minute you have entered the classroom, and they're ready, they're on it, and they're willing to do whatever. And you can even have a small prize in the end. The first team that finishes up and completes the process writing correctly can get a prize, then get stickers, get points, whatever you like, whatever you practice in your classroom. So it's again, very effective, very appropriate for an EFL classroom. I'm sure you will like it and would like to try this. And again, all these samples are on that QR code that will take you back to the website, and you can download for free and recycle from the very minute you have it on your hand. So great. So these are some of the interesting ways to use jigsaw writing or treasure hunt. I'm sure you have other bright ideas as well to use in your classroom. So activity 4, I absolutely love this. It's so kinesthetic, and it can be used in endless ways, in any skill you like, in any way you like. So what is a gallery activity actually? As you can see, the word says it all. You can see from the picture as well. There are pictures posted on the wall. You can imagine these as students standing in front of those pictures or posters, and they are reading and analyzing and synthesizing information from there. And depends on the outcome of the lesson. How would you like to use it? It is your choice, how you would adapt it and how would you like to use it in your classroom. It's again very kinesthetic, and it keeps them very connected and motivated. So some ways how I have used gallery activity is I've used it for a prediction of a lesson. I've used it as a stirrer or a settler in a classroom. I have used it for a grammar lesson. So I will show you how to make this gallery activity. Then I will explain you how I used it in my grammar lesson. So here are some steps that you can follow to make a good gallery activity. You create displays. And by creating displays, I mean, like I said, I used it for the prediction of a lesson. I used it for a grammar lesson. I used it for just a stirrer, a settler in my classroom. So it depends how you want to create your displays. So this is the most work which is required. Rest is followed by the students, and with the right instructions, with the right way of execution, you will achieve an outcome that will be very amazing. And you can see the energy in the classroom. You will see how students get connected, how amazed they are by this. So the next step, once you have posted and created the displays, you will group the students. It depends on the strength of your classroom. You group them into pairs, you group them in 4s or 3s, whatever you like. Then step 3 is observation. This observation is for students, where they stand in front of each display and observe. So this observation, what I usually do is give them a handout with the prompts or the kind of open-ended questions or close-ended questions. Depends how I am using this display, for what kind of outcome I'm trying to achieve and what I wish to do out of this. So they are instructed to rotate in front of each picture or each display and rotate in a clockwise direction. So while they are doing the observation and rotating, your role as a facilitator is to monitor them. Monitor them quietly and see what kind of information they are taking out from those displays. Have you achieved what you really wanted those displays to give students? If not, you can ask those questions in the reflection time. That's the last step when students have finished their observation and rotation throughout the displays that were posted in the classroom. Sit back in their groups and answer the questions on the handout, and collectively as a class, they reflect on the information that was collected from the displays. So how do we work around it? So if you look at the top left side of the image, this is a kind of a map I have shown you. You can use this gallery activity. So when I say rotation, so this is how you post your displays. It should be in a flow, in a clockwise, where you do not disrupt their observation and rotation in a classroom. So perhaps you can post the first item in front of, on the wall, maybe near the door, and you move on around the 3 walls or 4 walls of your classroom, keeping the flow from as a clockwise direction. So these dots represent the students doing the observation around the display. Once the first group is done and they move to item 2, you can direct the next group to go ahead and observe item 1. So slowly and steadily they build up, and as soon as the next move on, you give the other group direction to go to display 1. And in the center, you can see this is the handout in any way you like. It depends on what you are trying to achieve from this in that lesson today. So another way you can use a gallery walk is for feedback, peer review from the students. I find this very effective. What happens is, in a reading and writing class, in particularly, when you have taught a new genre to the students and they have written a rough draft about that genre, and there are some criteria how you mark that writing. So what happens is, you give them a big poster paper where they can write their draft as a group, as a team. And once they're done, they can post their papers on the wall, and their classmates can go and give them feedback. So blue feedback for a good, something good they have found, and a yellow post feedback where they can say, okay, this is how you can improve your writing next time. So again, you can see my aim always in a lesson is to give their learning process in students' hands. Let them discover, let them learn their own way. The discovery done through their experiment, through their experience, leaves a lasting effect on them. So it reduces teacher talking time as well. You have motivated them, you have encouraged them to go and give them feedback, the sense of responsibility. Okay, that my teacher thinks I'm good at it, I can go and give feedback to my peers, and it motivates them straight away, and they're willing to go ahead and do that. So it's another very interesting way to do it. If you look at the image below, compare and contrast gallery walk. This is another idea I can give you. We do this in the writing class as well, when one of the genres can be compare and contrast. And at times it can be very daunting for the students, and they compares their contrast is missing or something or the other, or they're all jumbled up together. So it is a very good way to unravel their confusion and help them discover those things by themselves. So in this activity, like if you can see on the image, you will travel around the room and your group to review the different story posters. Read each posters. These are the instructions that you will give to your students. Think about the story elements of each book. Talk about the story with your group members. Write something that is true about the story you are reviewing, and then rotate to the next poster. So if you can see, I've written there, use a Venn diagram. So it depends if you want to use a Venn diagram, you want to use a handout with prompts on it. It depends the kind of the level of students you are teaching, their ability of learning, their language proficiency. So you can play around in any way you like. And the next sample of post-its is, what is your favorite thing to do? So write an answer on a sticky note and place on it. So this can be used as a prediction of a lesson, depends on the theme of the lesson. So rather just asking them, okay, come on, you tell me, some are shy, some are participating, some are over enthusiastic. So this is a good way to have a holistic view and getting involved with everybody. All the students are chipping in the information. Even the shy students in the classroom will get up and write something and post it there. So what happens is you can straight away get an information as a holistic view from the class, rather just from some enthusiasts in the class. You can even use this as a exit ticket. What do I mean by exit ticket? So it is something that you have taught that day. And what I would do, I would post 2 posters in the gallery walk, something I learned today, something I'm not sure about. So as they leave the classroom, they use a post-it, blue and yellow, and post their replies on both the posters anonymously. So what happens is, it helps me to evaluate my lesson which I have just taught. It helps me to change my lesson according to their feedback. Maybe I went too fast with them. Maybe some things which I thought were very sure and they are good with it, they are able to apply it, but they're still not sure about. So again, this is also a very effective way to get a feedback from the students in an effective way. And because they're not writing their names, they are happy to do it. And then you as a teacher get insight of the feedback, authentic feedback that helps you to alter your lesson for the next class and cater to the needs appropriately. I'm sure you're all finding it interesting and you would love to use it and explore the new ways to use this gallery walk. It can be used to any classroom level, any EFL, any subject to speak. I know we are here just as TESOLers, but it can be used in any subject or any discipline and make it very effective and kinesthetic for the students. So what are the benefits? If I have to do all that effort, what will I get out of it? The students are actively involved. They share ideas and are exposed to ideas of others. So sometimes the shy students just stay quiet and they do have good knowledge, but they're shy to speak up. So what happens is, while they're sharing their ideas, they're exposed to ideas, and maybe lack of language proficiency, lack of saying it in the second language keeps them quiet. So, so using Post-its, they're allowed to make mistakes, they're allowed to make spelling mistakes. So they're okay with it. They just write and they're just giving their message across and posting it. So this is also something very encouraging for them. They speak, listen, negotiate, and build consensus. View the work of others and explain their own work. So what happens is they are listening and negotiating and building their collaborative work in the classroom. It helps them in lifelong learning skills. They will learn public speaking like this. It gives them confidence. They collaborate, analyze, evaluate, and synthesize. Synthesis is something for students, it is very daunting for them. They find it very hard. So what happens is, when they're analyzing and evaluating and breaking down information in a step-by-step process, how you have walked them through from a gallery activity to the handout to the analyzing part, when they sit together, and the same group, they went for their observation and rotation. They sat together and they collaborated. They analyzed each other's handout and took information that they were lacking. So they evaluated that and they tried to improve their own information on the handout they just took information on, and they synthesized. So again, you can see the gaps that were, filled by other students while they were doing it collaboratively and analyzing all the information when they sat together in the group again after their rotations. And in the end, they can nominate somebody from their group and they can express their ideas. So that helps them what? It helps them for public speaking. So it has, okay, so somebody would just stand up from that group and share their ideas, what they have just learned from these displays. So like I said, I use this gallery activity also for my grammar lesson. And what I did was I posted displays of an itinerary that I did last summer from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. as different displays with different captions under that picture. So my aim was to recycle the knowledge about past tense with my students. And they were again asked to observe, rotate, and synthesize and evaluate all the information they have got on the handout, and then they shared it with me. So once we had that shared information, I asked for the structure. They noticed that was displayed in those gallery walk. So after they had done all that, so aim of that lesson was to do a future tense with them. So what happened is I asked them to make a similar itinerary, but in future time, something they would like to visit in the upcoming summer holidays. So you know what happened then? I gave them an idea to build on, and it reduced my input. They were taking control of their own learning, and they were able to make an itinerary by themselves, but using the future tense unconsciously. Then when we synthesized all the information, we figured out we were using future tense without my input. And you get that authentic text as well. You can use that same authentic text they just did as an activity and use it in the classroom there to use it as a future tense lesson from fresh and give your input, explicit input about that grammar structure. So you can see now, you can be as creative as you can. And again, there's a whole lesson plan for you on my website where you can download and have another extended idea about gallery walk. Great. Activity 5. So Quizlet Live. I'm an absolute fan of Quizlet. Quizlet Live is something new. They have started as a new bolt-on application in their website. It's a free app. It is amazing. Students can collaborate. Students can learn at their own space and time. And it is very user friendly. Teachers can just recycle other vocabulary words and sentences from other teachers as well. So you again say, okay, I'm too busy, you're giving me too much information, I cannot use Quizlet, something new, I don't have time for this. But believe me, it is as simple as ABC. And you will get step-to-step guide on my website as well, where I have handouts with pictures, which will help you to create a Quizlet account and how you can use all the lovely features over there. And believe me, I'm not paid by Quizlet to promote them, but I'm an absolute lover of Quizlet. So why Quizlet? It's an interactive study tool. It helps the tech-savvy generation. It's a free app, motivate students, and it's very user-friendly. If you have a Facebook account, I'm sure you can easily use Quizlet. It is that simple. So this is what it is. If you can see on top left image, you can see here I have a list of US state capitals. And if you can see on the top, there's a search box, the white one. This search box will help you search endless list of words that you are searching for, and you might not have to use a new one for yourself. You can add that list to your class. It is that simple. So if you can see, when you open a Quizlet, this is the main page that shows up. So these are the different ways you can use a Quizlet as flashcards. These can be downloaded as well, and you can also use it in your class as flashcard learning cards. Learn and Speller is something that students can use on their own time and space. Test is something you can download and create and use it in your classroom. Scatter and Gravity are also games that students can use on their own pace, or you can use it in your classroom. So the main feature that I'm looking here for is live. If you can see, that is in purple. This is something new that Quizlet has started, and it is absolutely amazing. So what happens is, when you click this live button, and if you can see on your right side top image, it generates a code for you. And you direct your students to go to Quizlet Live on their mobile phones. And you can imagine the smile on them as soon as you tell them, okay, it's time to use mobile phones. You know how happy they are to use it all the time. So once the students go on Quizlet Live from Google Chrome, and they will be asked to add a code. So this is the code that is generated when you clicked live purple button over there. So once they start adding the code, the left bottom image, if you can see, they will be asked to write their names in. So what happens is, you can see that one by one, your students' names are listed here, and they are adding up one after the other. So you can see they're all in, and the green button, create game with 14 students. So when you press this button, and you can see on the bottom right side, the image, it will shuffle them automatically under different names. If you can see, there are frogs, T-Rexes, ostriches, and Linux. So this is an automatic generated list according to the strength of your class and according to the strength of students who are participating in that day. So you can reshuffle it if you're not happy with the team. So if you can see the button in the white, if you click that button, you will be able to reshuffle the team. And again, it always comes in the name of the animal. So again, they will be listed under any animal, but the student's name will come underneath. Once you're happy and you're ready to start, the start game button on the blue will help you start the game. So what happens then? That's where the action starts. So here it is. If you see the image on the top left side, this is something the students will see on their mobile phones or on the iPad. And if you have a language lab in your premises, you can even take them to that lab. And this is something that students will see as soon as you click the Start Game button. So if you can see, each phone will have, for example, the vocabulary word equation that is in green, but the words in the center are the definitions. So how is it collaborated then? What happens is the rest 3 team members might have the right definition. It might not be on my phone, for example. It might be on Kathy's iPhone. It can be on the other Kathy's iPhone. So what happens is they have to work collaboratively. They have to check which team member has the right definition, and then they click on it. As soon as they click on it, it shows green. That means they have got the right word, and the next word comes up straight away. So if you can see the image on the right side top one, this is something that will be your screen. And you can see the animals are listed, and the progress bar is progressing as they are answering all the definition words. So, and if they make a mistake, this bar goes back to 0 and they start all over again. It is so motivating. They are so thrilled. They're so excited, and it's just they want to play it all over again. They want to win all over again. So what happens? You have achieved what you wanted. You motivated them. You helped them recycle a vocabulary that you have just taught them. You didn't have to make a new worksheet for them to understand this. And they got it, and they got it collaboratively. They learned from their peers. They learned from their classmates. And okay, there were mistakes, but it's okay. You can play it again. You can play it next time in the next class. They can play it by themselves on their phones. So you can see how amazing and how interesting it is for the students. It is very exciting for them, and they get so motivated and they want to win. So if you can see the bottom image, congrats, reindeers, great job. That means whichever team won shows up as an image on the top on your screen, when the whole class can see this team won. So this is a big thing from them. All right, we won, the reindeers won, and they keep on looking at the bars on the right side and where they see their progress. And if they're going back to 0, they're struggling again. So it just keeps them busy from the very first minute. And the vocabulary is recycled in a very effective way. I have also used images. There's a new option in Quizlet where you can use images next to the vocabulary word you are teaching. So what happens is at times students struggle to understand a vocabulary word in context. So it helps them to figure out in the image. For example, I was teaching a word spread. So an image with a girl spreading cards on the floor, or a spread as a jam spread or a peanut butter spread. So the 2 pictures were different. So they were, it was like a snap game when they had to snap and figure out which word matched which word. So understanding a vocabulary in context with the images next to it is really helpful for the second language learners. The anxiety is very less. They get motivated to figure out themselves, and they become less dependent on their teachers. I'm sure you're even more excited to use all this as I am always to use it in my classroom. Okay. So these are the 10 ways to motivate your students, and I think Ken Wilson from British Council have said it the best way as I could have. So make them curious, I made them curious to learn by using all these activities in my classroom. Was it challenging for them? Yes, of course it was. But if the instructions are very clear, if you're following the process in the right way, I'm sure you'll be able to execute it correctly. And it challenges them. And they love challenge, especially when they are intrinsically motivated to win. When they're motivated to win, they are willing to take any challenge what is in front of them. Avoid the obvious. Yes, of course. I was trying to avoid the obvious, bring curiosity in, bringing something challenging in, not just paperwork, not just their course books. I'm not saying that they are bad altogether. I'm not saying that you can just forget about them and move on to these activities. But it breaks the monotony in the classroom. It develops something new, something that connects them straight away. Devolve responsibility. Believe me, they love responsibility. When you give them, when you turn the tables towards them and give them the responsibility of learning and discovering, instead of waiting for the teacher to give her input, it helps a lot. It just makes them confident about their learning. It helps them to use the language. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not use it correctly, but at least they're making an effort and they're getting encouragement for that. And with time, with little changes in the classroom, they develop confidence, and they're able to take control of their own learning slowly and steadily. Teach unplugged occasionally. I know you can't have that racket every day in the classroom, but I'm sure by the end of the week, when you're also thinking, oh, okay, I've done everything all the week, what should I do? Just pull any of these activities and recycle, revise, do something you think they're still weak on, and yet have them connected and engaged, even at the last lesson of the week. So let students use their tech and their tech skills. Believe me, they're very proud of it. And especially they doubt me at times. Miss, I think I can do better. I think I'm very good at this app. I said, well, yes, of course I know you are. And then this ability of being very happy to use the mobile phones or the apps and yet learning through fun is really helps them. And their imagination. Find out what they know and what they are good at. We all know they're all very tech savvy, and we know that they're all very good at it. So why not exploit that? Why not exploit it in a right way? Take a break. These activities do give a break in the classroom. It gives you a break. And once the resources are ready, you can recycle it anytime. It's just about doing a one-time effort, and you can recycle it over and over again. Create a shared learning experience. I am a strong promoter of this. I like students to have a shared learning experience from their peers, from their classmate, not only just from me as the teacher, as the facilitator. I'm the facilitator. I will facilitate their learning, but they have to learn this and learn the sharing experience from their peers as well. Trust them and learn their process from there as well. So we all have strategies, but is there an execution? Did they execute it correctly? There can be pitfalls. Not every activity can be successful, but it might be successful next time. So we can try it first. Maybe our instructions weren't clear. Maybe our handouts weren't clear enough. Maybe we didn't execute it correctly. But again, when you have feedback from students, you can always have a feedback. What do you think about that activity? Do you want to do it again? You will hear the response from them. And that's where the success lies. You can't just say, okay, I'm a teacher. I know everything. I know I'm going to use this activity. I know how to execute it, and voila, the success is there. No, it's always good to have good feedback from the students and always ask for positive. Anonymous feedback is the best thing that works for any teacher. Tell them to leave good feedback behind, and you will know how to alter your instruction next time, how you can improve it next time. And I always say, I'm a learner. I learn every day. I don't call myself an expert. So I have this ability. I cannot do this without having a feedback from my students and understanding, was it a success or not? You learn from your students a lot as well every day. Well, let's make 2019 a challenge to beat. And what I have been directing you from the beginning of the presentation is this QR code. If you scan this QR code, I will leave it up for a while for you, and it will take you to my website. This QR code will take you to all the resources that I have just shown you and many others available there. It will take you to my publications and other project ideas with images and samples posted on that website. Might give you more ideas. You can leave your feedback there, and you can even communicate with me through that website or through my email, as you like. So I will wait for 30 seconds or so. I would like, if you want to scan this code and figure out. Well, thank you for listening. Now I'm open for any kind of questions you have. Please feel free to ask me. Any questions you wish to ask, anything that you're not sure about, please feel free to ask now.
We still have 8 minutes. Does anyone have any questions?
I think I have good students today. They're very happy to learn, and they learn something.
Okay, if nobody has any questions, and with that, we must conclude today's online program. Today's presentation was titled Rejuvenation in Education, Ignite Your Mind. A special thank you to our presenter, Maria Zahir, and this concludes the program. You may want to disconnect now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you for having me today.